And I'm glad you guys are here doing what you're doing. It's a blessing. And I thank you for listening to me, and I hope that, you know, we can pass the messages to the governments that we need to come together. Because the future will have no, you know.
This is what we're doing here.
Your process sounds a lot like the frustrations that they've had with the developing a process here.
Yes.
Occupy is not an answer; it's a process.
Yes.
So hopefully we can get some answers out of it.
Listen.
With hydro, like when they built that in the 70s, were they clear with the people as to what was going to happen, or did they give you sort of
I don't believe so.
No, they were not clear what was
They
going to
just
happen.
put it
So
down.
when they built those first dams, you guys are flooded. You had the water's contaminated. There's increase of mercury and everything with the. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Fish dying,
Yeah.
the land, just
Everything, the hunting, the gathering, medicines, everything has been destroyed. We can't do that anymore.
you can't.
We can't do those things anymore. We're not allowed to eat fish. There's mercury in them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pollution, and also there's devastation of our homes. We live close by the lakes now, and you could just see the water close by us now. And it took them 30 years to build a bridge for us to come to the main road. It took them 30 years, and we had to do a massive blockade to be heard. So we're saying that we need to take our land back. We're just gonna have to strategically plan what we're gonna do, what our next step will be.
Enough is enough.
Yes, enough is enough, and we might take our land back and say you can have your Northern Good agreement for $1.
And see
a lot of the reserves during the different times they've taken payments, and most of that money just
the payment.
The individuals. And
The payment is never enough. The payment is never enough.
But for you guys, you actually put it into this trust fund.
We did put it in a trust fund, and that's when we used it for campaigning and to be heard. That's how we got our vote. But then after we were being heard so much, then out in the States we were out doing campaigning out there. Now they came after us over there. The other bands that were settled, they brought those people and they said that there's clean, environment, energy, whatever. Those are the people that we use. So there's pro-hydro indigenous groups that help with the hydro with it. So
a lot of bands will say, a lot of reserves will say that the chief of council itself is just as much. It's just a replacement of the Indian agent.
Yes, exactly. But we have our own self-government process, and we're not allowing that to happen now.
So have you got back completely to your traditional form of government?
Yes.
So you guys don't have a formal chief and council?
No, we wear hats. We wear two hats with the Indian agents, but we just watched their programs, the federal funded programs, and we have our own core councils, which is our own self-government process. Our people have to be told first before they bring anything into our territory or try and, Yeah.
How much of your land is usable now?
Oh, so many acres. So many acres are disappearing, and I don't know. We have a lot of outstanding claims that hasn't been settled. A lot of our, we're supposed to be compensated, but that's not happening.
And a one-time check that
the one-time check, it goes back to the Indian agents programs for their underfunded programs.
Yeah,
they're the ones responsible for that. They're supposed to be paying for their underfunded programs or do something to, it's massive. It's devastating. You know,
with the new dam that's being built, like they've had a lot of discussion here on the bipole.
yeah.
There's, you know, it's nice for the Boreal Forest network there that wants the UNESCO site, but you know, it's where it's being built is still going to affect you guys. How much effect will that have on the north again? Like it's not completed yet, right? It's still
no, it's not completed yet.
What do they expect the flood of that?
Well, that's what we like to know. They haven't done any environmental assessments. You know, they haven't consulted us, like how much it's going to damage, how many acres they're going to damage for this, if they're going to build this. So we might have to step in and say, no, you're not going to build no more dams here. That's, you know, we have enough power, we have enough electricity to.
Well, this is being sold out of
and they're selling it out to the states, and the states are demanding, and you know, but I don't think that's necessary. We have enough power here. We have enough to look after our people here, and that's what we have to worry about. Our future generations that are coming. You know, the unborn that are coming. You know.
I think the basic. I'm a friend to the cause, as you can tell. I grew up next to a reserve, and for me, a lot of it is the differences between the messages of what you guys get and what we get. Because I mean, right now, when you look at the corporate world and what occupies happening, I mean, it's the history that sort of been out there is, well, reserves were allowed to do economic development, and they just didn't want to. But people don't know that, you know, there's so many barriers put in place to allowing you to develop on your own.
Yeah.
You know, so much of that was shut down. It was just sort of assimilate. Now they're sort of coming back, and they're using it. You know, you have to accept economic development through these processes. But what they really mean is we want the resources under your feet.
Yes. And our people are aware of that.
Yeah.
And then our people are saying, do it right.
Is it possible still at this point to reclaim your traditional lifestyle, or to at least have it as a component for your future generations?
Yes, that's what our elders are saying. We have to go back to those teachings. And our elders are saying that we need to go back to our lodges, I guess, and get those teachings back, to gain that respect, love, all those 7 teachings, and that's what we have to go back and it's happening right now back home. And
so they are doing that.
Yeah.
And there is enough left as long as they stop destroying more of it. Well, Tommy had mentioned something about. There's a good possibility of logging coming in that direction as well too.
Yes, and also mining. There's a lot of stuff.
So it's not just what hydro's doing. What hydro's already done. Like have in the 30 years since they built that first one, have some of the lands recovered, or
maybe 2 or 3. Lands were given back to the reserve.
Yeah,
that's about it. But
is it recovering from the damage that was done to it?
No, they're not. They're continuously damaging.
Getting eroded away. So
the trees are just falling apart. The animals are growing. They're just, you know, everything is just, even the fish. It's unreal. We have to go further down, and we can't even drink our own drinking water. We can't even drink our own drinking. It's all chlorinated, you know.
How are you?
Everything is just unreal. There's massive unemployment, massive property, housing, and families are, you know. Sometimes there's
Grassy Narrows and
Yes.
what's happened there. So that's how Tommy and I met. So
Oh, yeah. Okay.
talking about that stuff. So right now the reserve, Cross Lake is committed to reclaiming your traditional style, rebuilding it with your regular and continue along those lines.
Yes.
To reclaim and
Yeah. And it's part of healing our people, healing our land, healing our nation. That's the road we're going to try and follow.
if there's anything people here can do, what helps the most? Get the message out first?
Yeah, get the message out there first, and to respect who we are, and that's the message. We need to get the message out there first. That's the priority. If we don't, our water will
Awesome, man.
what's going to happen for the future? I bet you there'll be massive water. A bottle. It's happening. My grandfather used to say that we're going to be paying water in the future. And he was right. He knew it.
Oh, the multinationals want in here to run their water system and sell it back.
I think they are.
Dude, I know how you're native, man. That's crazy.
And we pay massive hydro bills. $300 a month. And people are not aware of that. And how much does the South pay their hydro bill? And how much are the states going to pay their hydro bill? Less than what we pay.
They give them some sort of...
I don't know if there's one in there. We do. There's lots of time. Well,
what alternative would you have to hydro?
I don't know
what alternative would we have to give their Northern Flood Agreement back for $1 and tell them to leave us alone now. That's it. I think that's the next step we're going to have. We cannot allow destroy anymore. That's it.
So right now you guys would be the only ones campaigning against the dams at all.
Well, I'm glad the Grassy Narrows is doing something. I'm glad those other ones are doing something. I'm glad Barrier Lake is doing something for their, there are.
You guys know about Barrier Lake?
Barrier Lake, Ontario?
That's Quebec. Algonquins of Barrier Lake.
Quebec, yeah.
And in 1991, they have this wonderful, absolutely incredible agreement with the federal government to actually manage their resources and their lands, because they did not see their land as well either. Since 1991, it has never been implemented. The government has refused to actually follow through on it. And meanwhile, they sneak, there's industry sneaking on trying to get, look at the resources. There's a copper mine.
Yes.
Basically denying the First Nations their right to manage their own. Like, that's half of it, is that you guys never get a dime out of any of the resources that are taken out from your feet.
So you were saying
it's always been like that.